As the crowd gathered for the coronation, the prince walked towards the throne room to be crowned king, but the doors opened and a voice yelled, "Stop the coronation! This is not a king. This is a woman disguised as a man. The royal family have lied to us." The prince stood frozen and shocked, her entire life crumbling in a single moment. Now everything was at risk: the throne, the kingdom, and the truth that could destroy them all. King Asaka paced the grand hall of his palace. The crown on his head felt heavier as the year passed without a son. He remembered what his father told him. If the king does not produce a male heir, the king of the neighboring kingdom will take over and rule both kingdoms. "Son, you don't want to be the reason why our family lost the throne. You need to have a son." There were rumors about the queen's inability to conceive. For 10 long years, Queen Indanti had struggled with barrenness. Her pain was hidden behind a graceful smile. The weight of securing the throne laid heavily on her shoulders. She was desperate and frustrated that she couldn't give the king a son. As the pressure mounted as many years passed, the royal family and the elders began to put pressure on the king to take another wife, reminding him of the kingdom's future. The fear of losing everything, his throne, his legacy, and his wife, kept King Asaka awake at night. King Asaka loved his wife so much and did not want to cause her any problems by bringing another woman into their home. One day, as they sat together to enjoy dinner, "My king, what are we going to do?" the queen asked. "My queen, I believe that the gods will bless us with a son. I made a promise that I will not marry more than one wife. I will stand by my promise," the king responded. "But what if I can't bear you a son?" the queen asked. "Don't worry, the gods will make it happen," the king answered. The king comforted her, even though their barrenness worried him and gave him sleepless nights. He acted strong in front of the queen. 10 years later, a miracle happened. Queen Indanti became pregnant. News spread quickly through the kingdom, and the people were so happy for her. She was a great queen who loved and cared for the people. For the first time in years, hope filled the air. The kingdom believed that their future was secure. But as the queen's belly grew, so did her fear. Deep down in her heart, she prayed so much for a boy. "I really need to have a boy. The whole kingdom depends on me." Few months later, she went into labor. King Asaka waited anxiously outside the birthing chambers, his heart pounding in his chest. Inside, Queen Indanti held her newborn child in her arms, her heart torn between overwhelming love for her new baby and gut-wrenching terror that the baby was a girl. Her mind raced. How would she tell King Asaka and the kingdom that the child they had all waited for wasn't a boy? In her panic, Queen Indanti made a desperate decision. She turned to the midwife and her most trusted maid. With tears in her eyes, she begged them, "Please help me keep this secret," she cried. "What secret, my queen?" they asked her. "Please, no one must know that the baby is a girl." They were shocked at desperate decision to deceive the king and the kingdom. But they loved her so much and wanted to protect her. "Okay, my queen," they responded. Together they wrapped the baby girl in fine royal cloth, and when the doors of the chamber opened, the midwife announced the birth of a prince. The king and the elders were overjoyed, and they named him Prince Akwa. The whole kingdom celebrated with a feast. As the years went by, the lie grew. Akwa, the daughter who was supposed to be a son, was raised as a prince. Her mother, the queen, had always warned her never to tell anyone that she was a girl. She explained to her the dangers of exposing the secret, and the Akwa understood. As she grew into adolescent, Queen Indanti carefully tied Akwa's chest with bandages to conceal her growing body. The bandages were tight, uncomfortable, and painful, but Akwa endured it all. As the prince grew, he learned everything a future king must know. He fought well and led with wisdom. No one suspected anything, but Queen Indanti lived in constant fear. The fear of people knowing her secret consumed her. Her anxiety grew with each passing year as Akwa's body continued to develop. The queen had to continually find ways to hide her daughter's femininity, fearing that someone would notice the truth. Prince Akwa, though she was raised as a boy, found herself drawn to feminine girly things. She secretly wanted to wear dresses and adorn her hair with jewelries just like the other girls, but she knew better not to risk the future of their kingdom. Her life was different. She had responsibilities as the future king. Her best friend, Prince Ikpe, from the neighboring kingdom, was a great friend. Together, they would escape the palace guards and run through the forests, hunting and playing together. But Prince Ikpe always had a strange feeling about Akwa. Something about his Prince Akwa was different, but he couldn't put his finger on it. On a warm afternoon, Akwa and Prince Ikpe sneaked away from their guards, as they often did, to explore the dense forest beyond the palace walls. The trees were thick, the air filled with the sounds of birds and the rustle of leaves. It was their favorite place, a refuge from the pressures of royal life. As they went deeper into the woods, playing in the river and climbing trees, without warning, there was a dangerous snake striking its fangs deep into Prince Akwa's shoulder. The pain was instant and fierce. Prince Akwa screamed and collapsed, her body trembling from the poison spreading through her veins. Prince Ikpe ran towards his friend. He had been trained to handle such emergencies, but had never been in a situation like the one he was about to see. He knew Prince Akwa didn't have much time. Without thinking, he began to undress Prince Akwa so he could get to the wound. But as he pulled the shirt off, his world stopped. There, beneath Prince Akwa's shirt, were bandages tightly wrapped around her chest, hiding her breasts. Akwa wasn't the boy Prince Ikpe thought he knew. She was a girl. What? She is girl? Prince Ikpe was in shock. His mind raced with questions, confusion, and betrayal. Everything he thought he knew about his friend, the future king, had been a lie. But there was no time to dwell on the revelation. Prince Akwa was still in danger. So Ikpe quickly applied the anti-venom herbs to the bite, wrapped her arm to stop the poison from spreading, and put her shirt back on. Akwa's breathing slowed as she drifted in and out of consciousness. When she finally woke up, weak and confused, "Did you see anything unusual?" Prince Akwa asked. "No, I just moved your sleeve and wrapped your shoulder. Nothing unusual happened." Prince Ikpe responded, trying to compose himself. But deep inside, Prince Ikpe knew their lives would never be the same again. As Akwa and Ikpe made their way back to the palace, neither of them noticed there was a hunter from the neighboring village who was watching their every move. The hunter was from the kingdom that wanted King Asaka's throne, and now he had found the perfect weapon, the truth about Akwa. Elder Tumbe had witnessed everything. He saw the bandages and realized what it meant. Akwa wasn't a prince at all. She was a girl, and her existence as the heir to the throne was a lie. Elder Tumbe smiled, as this was the opportunity he had been waiting for. Back in the palace, Prince Ikpe was torn between loyalty to his friend and the weight of the secret he now carried. He struggled with his emotions. What should I do? Should I tell someone? Should I confront Akwa? Or should I keep the secret hidden to protect her and her kingdom? He thought to himself. Unknown to Prince Ikpe, the problem had just started, and the truth would come crashing down on them all. Back in the palace, preparations for Akwa's coronation was in full swing. The kingdom was excited. After 21 years of waiting, the people would finally witness the crowning of their future king. The throne room was being decorated with the finest silks, and the chefs prepared the best food. But Queen Ndanti's heart was heavy. The closer they got to the coronation, the more restless she became. Her secret was like a ticking time bomb, and each passing day brought her closer to disaster. Akwa, on the other hand, was filled with mixed emotions. She was raised as a prince, but she knew she was a girl. The weight of the kingdom's expectations pressed down on her. Prince Ikpe had been distant since the snakebite incident, and Akwa couldn't understand why. She feared that something had changed between them. Meanwhile, Elder Tumbe, the man from the rival kingdom, informed his king of what he saw. He knew that the coronation would be the perfect time to expose the royal family's deception. The eyes of the entire kingdom would be on Akwa, and when the truth came out, the kingdom would be thrown into chaos. His kingdom would finally have the chance to claim the throne. The morning of the coronation arrived, and the kingdom was filled with joy and celebration. People gathered in the hall, eagerly awaiting the moment when Prince Akwa would be crowned. Inside the palace, Akwa stood in front of a mirror, dressed in royal robes. The weight of the crown would soon rest on her head, and the future of the kingdom would be in her hands. But as she stared at her reflection, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was living someone else's life. The bandages wrapped tightly around her chest reminded her life was a lie. Just as the royal coronation began, The doors to the throne room busted open. The king of the rival kingdom stormed in with his elders, his face twisted with anger and determination. "Stop the coronation!" he screamed. The entire room fell silent, and all eyes turned to him. "I have proof that the royal family has lied to us all," Elder Tume shouted. "Prince Akwa is no prince at all. She is a girl, unfit to rule this kingdom." Guests gasped through the room, and whispers of disbelief spread like wildfire. King Asaka, seated on his throne, stood up in shock. "How dare you make such an accusation?" he demanded, his voice shaking with anger. But Jide was prepared. "I have seen the truth with my own eyes," he said. "I know that the child you raised as your son is in fact a daughter. If you do not believe me, let the elders examine the prince in private. They will see that I speak the truth." There was chaos. The king and queen fought desperately to deny the accusation, but the whispers of doubt grew louder. The elders, now suspicious, agreed to Jide's demand. They would examine Akwa in private to determine the truth. The queen's heart sank. She knew the end had come. In the privacy of Akwa's chambers, the elders gathered. The room was tense. The silence was thick with anticipation. Akwa stood before them, her heart pounding in her chest. She had no choice but to submit to the examination. As the elders carefully unwrapped the bandages around her chest, the truth was laid bare. Akwa was not a prince. She was a girl. "How dare you do this to our kingdom?" The elders screamed. For 21 years, the kingdom had been living a lie. The royal family had deceived everyone. Akwa, their future king, was not the heir they had been promised. The news spread through the palace like wildfire, and soon the entire kingdom knew the truth. The people were so angry. They had been betrayed by the very family they had trusted to lead them. King Asaka and Queen Danti were devastated. Their dreams, their future, and their legacy were all destroyed in an instant. The throne was no longer theirs to claim. As punishment for their deception, the elders decreed that Queen Ndanti and Akwa be banished from the kingdom. The queen was stripped of her titles and forced to leave, her once glorious lives reduced to nothing. In the midst of the chaos, a woman named Ada appeared at the palace gates. She carried a secret that would change everything. Years ago, before King Asaka married Queen Ndanti, he had a secret affair with Ada, who was a palace maid. From that affair, Ada was pregnant. King Asaka, fearing scandal, sent Ada away and provided for her while she was pregnant. King Asaka did not know that Ada had a son for him. Now, with the kingdom in trouble and the throne empty, Ada knew it was time to reveal the truth. She gathered her courage and brought Etim to the palace. They brought her before the King Asaka. "Here is your son, my king," she said, her voice steady but filled with emotions. King Asaka, still trying to recover from the events that had destroyed his family, was stunned. Could it be true? Could this commoner, raised in secret, truly be his son? The royal advisors and elders were skeptical, but they agreed to investigate. After a thorough examination and questioning, the truth was undeniable. Etim was indeed the king's legitimate son. The kingdom had a male heir after all, and the throne was about to be saved. The coronation that was meant for Akwa now belonged to Etim. Etim was crowned as the rightful king, and everyone in the village was relieved. They had feared that the wicked king would take over the kingdom. King Etims decided to pardon Akwa and Queen Ndanti. Despite the lies that had been told, he believed that they deserved forgiveness. Etim invited Akwa and Queen Ndanti back to the palace. Akwa had allowed her hair to grow. She wore a beautiful dress she had always wanted. She was a very beautiful princess. King Etim restored their titles, and once again, they became part of the royal family. Prince Ikpa, who had kept Akwa's secret for so long, finally found the courage to confront his friend. He came over to meet Akwa in their usual place. "I knew you were a girl when I helped you with the snake bite," Prince Ikpe confessed. Akwa was shocked. "Why didn't you say something, my prince?" she asked. "I wanted to keep your secret, and I am sorry that the hunter found out." Prince Ikpe did not waste any time. He proposed to Akwa, confessing his love for her. Akwa, who had always cherished their friendship, accepted his proposal, and the two were married. Akwa became the queen for the neighboring kingdom, and the grand ceremony brought the two kingdoms together in celebration. The moral of this story is deception, no matter how well hidden, always comes to light. It is better to live in truth, no matter the consequences, than to build a life on lies. What other moral story did you learn from this story? Please leave it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.